What are we doing? I gotta repot some Anthurium. I gotta upsize a couple of the babies that are doing well now that we've hit spring. At the same time, I'm gonna be recording for YouTube, so anybody that misses this, you'll be able to catch it on my YouTube channel. So I'm gonna try something new with recording my lives, if you will, to put them up on YouTube, so people that do miss it can get a little bit of what we do here. And as always, we can treat this like a Q&A. Again, I'm not a botanist. I'm just a plant enthusiast like the rest of us. So if you have any questions, I'm going to answer them to the best of my ability with or from my experience. So again, from my experience. So I'm just going to start. We're going to start doing some little ones, which I'll introduce to you guys, stuff that really needs to be repotted. I'll tell you why it needs to be repotted. What shade density you use for what, for the fabric up top? Bonnie, you're asking for the shade fabric? The percentage of my shade cloth? All right, so Bonnie's asking what the percentage of the shade cloth I use. So originally, when I first kicked up the greenhouse, I had 73%. So the tops over here are 73%, and I'm in South Florida, so just in case anybody is wondering where I'm at, South Florida, so you get an idea of what the sun and humidity does. So this is 73. Now it's also paired up with 50%, so you can see strips that go across, 1, 2, 3. Those are 50% under the 73%. So that gives you an idea of how crazy the sun is, especially when you're growing Anthurium. I don't need the plants getting absolutely decimated by the sun. So I've doubled up on that. And then I included an entire other part, which is like, I want to say somewhere in the 90s for shade cloth. But that was just to give me shade on the remainder and to beat any sun that was hitting from the eastbound direction, which is where the sun rises for me. And hits my plants, so that way I didn't need a curtain like I used to have to go across all the plants here. So it's about 90-something% on this side, but the remainder of it is 73% with strips of 50% going across it. So I hope I answered that question. If anybody has any, I actually have a video about the extension and the building of the shade house and what percentage fabric I use. So if you are curious how I did it, how I tied it, how I did all that stuff, I built it all myself. It's on my YouTube channel. You can search, you should be able to find it under Alex Saint, or just hit the my bio and there's a link there. What's up, Brittany? How are you? Yeah, and just spit any questions you have from there. I'm like trying to read. I don't know if... Okay. So let's get this started. Now, naturally, this is one of them. What I've found is, coming from winter, if you will, and I say winter because it's South Florida, and I don't know if you can consider us having winter, but what I found coming from winter is that I can use one consistency of potting mix versus the summertime where everything dries out really, or spring to summer where everything dries out really fast, and then I have to go back to daily waterings. When I say daily, almost every day. But some of the Anthurium or other plants that I have potted up either retain water a little too much, or just for some reason they don't do as well as they did during the winter season or fall. So I have to come out and I have to repot or upsize a lot of these pots as well, because the plants, as you can see here, are beginning to really flourish in this season and they're doing well. But for them to really kick up the growth, I am doing a lot of cutting of flowers I know nobody wants to cut the flowers off their plants, but I do have to cut the flowers a lot to just keep foliage growth going. Now, if it's something that I've been wishing to cross, I won't cut the flower, obviously. And I'll show you a few of stuff that I have in creation right now that have already started dropping seeds and that are already germinating. But when I have them in small pots like this, and the plant starts to become a little stagnant around this time, it's kind of a message for me that says, all right, we got to upsize. And then it also gives me a chance to look at what's going on in with the roots. So this one right here we'll start with is a Mag Black Widow Michelle. And hold on, give me a second. All right, so this is a Mag Black Widow Michelle, and just so you can get a better look, this is what it looks like. And then we'll take a look at the roots. That's what that looks like. It's for the people at home on the other camera. And we'll just give some light. And before anyone asks where I get the pots from, these clear pots, greenbarnorchid.com, and you can find these pots, and they have a variety of new ones that I'm probably going to try if I have the opportunity today. Some thicker, more durable ones, and then these are some that I use as well. But I get those from greenbarnorchid.com. You can tell them I sent you. All right. So this is pretty decent. We got some roots all over there. I don't know, it says some comments on the live were filtered. I don't know what comments would be filtered. We're talking about plants, so if you're writing anything crazy, that's a little wild. And if you're gifting me, I don't know how to tell. It's saying, but thank you. But yeah, the roots look decent. This one, I recall making it or potting it up in a heavy cocoa chips, and I am fairly certain that I used tree fern fiber in this as well. And this is doing well. I see a lot of white roots, like fuzzy white roots that are just growing in the midst of it, which is good. But it doesn't hurt for me to, like I said, punch it up a little bit in just a slightly bigger pot and give it a little bit more room. Hey Shauna, how are you? So we're just gonna create a base, or put a little bit of a base like that. And we'll just drop it in there, see what it looks like. I think that's good enough. It's actually perfect. And then I'm just gonna drop and this is also the time where I start to really increase the fertilization of these plants. So we haven't actually gotten a lot of rain. Generally, when we get a lot of rain, I'm fertilizing almost every week because I don't have anything blocking the rain from hitting the plants. If it rains, the plants get water, which is why I use somewhat of a chunky mix. When I first started my plant collection out here, it was mainly philodendron and monstera and things of that nature. And immediately I saw a lot of root rot because I was using dirt, soil. So I went away from soil and started going towards this chunkier mix, and the plants have thanked me, because in the rain season it just gets a little too crazy, and when they're getting water every day, they can't sit in the dirt like that. And actually, give me a second, I'll grab the some Osmocote, what I use for slow release. So I do drop a little bit of slow release Osmocote. So I do a mixture of liquid fertilizer and slow release pellets. And the plants seem to like it. And then we'll put that one right back. And that's our first one. And again, this one's Mag Black Widow Michelle. And it's simple, that's it. We're not doing anything crazy, we're just giving it a little more room. And if I squeeze, I can probably make even more room. That's that. And after repotting, I generally give a nice deep watering. But I'm gonna water these. I'm gonna water all of these once we get off the live today, so I can put them right back in their normal spot. But generally, I would soak them, pretty much drown them, give them a nice thorough watering, and then they go right back on the plant deck here. This one is to Indo Drusselleri. I'm not sure if this one needs a repot yet. It's kind of doing its thing. That way you see what it looks like. We may hold off on that one. Let's see if there's one that needs it more. This is a red vein dark phoenix, a small one. It's not really making any improvements, so I'm probably going to pull this one out just to see what's going on with the roots, which sometimes you have to do. Okay, not terrible. You see, not terrible at all. There's nothing brown or mushy, but it's good to see what's going on. I expected this to be a little further along. So we'll just put some fresh mix in there. And continue to monitor it, see what it does. Nice loose. We'll just keep an eye on that, see what it does. So I just posted this one, or a photo of this one, if you follow me on IG too. This is the Bivet. And this is the Black Velvet Indo type. So it is an import. You see the newest leaf there. But I can see the roots, and maybe you can see it through the pot there. So the roots are happy, they're doing their thing, but it's probably not a bad time to upsize this one as well. And there we are. Like I said, that's all the roots we're seeing right there. And I don't like to disturb the roots on these if I don't have to. Now, if I get a lot of just dead, rotted stuff, then obviously I have to go in and cut. So I will disturb them. But something like this seems to be happy and healthy, and they're doing great. So maybe just the bottom. Just so I make space, I sprawl it out, and then the rest of it I just leave alone. Throw a little Osmo coat. And we fill it. And just get the edges, let's fill it out a little bit. A couple good squeezes to get some of this mix around the roots. And there we are. Thank you, Veronica. I try. I spend a lot of time out here, but it's been a definite work in progress. It's been, what, let's call it 2-3 years from beginning to end to where I finally gotten it, and we're still making improvements. Again, that's the Black Velvet Indo type. New leaf, older leaf. Let's throw a little bit more on there. But yeah, feel free to ask any questions if you have any. Like I said, I mean, or you can just watch me repot a lot of my plants that really needed repotting. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Here's another one. So this one's a I'm so bad with this. I'm gonna assume that's probably a lot better. I'm gonna assume these are, you guys are gifting. So Lucy, thank you. Mo, thank you. Veronica, thank you. World Peace Puppet, if these are gifts, thank you. I never understand like what it says, but this one's a velvet mask, crossed with a Forgetii Pap, and this was a Cartel Dawn plant that came as a tiny little seedling, and slowly we're figuring this one out. I probably have to stand here because the sun is hitting real nice. So you can see it was in a tiny pot, and we're just gonna couple squeezes and see what we have. And here's another one. Like, woo! Majority of everything is just doing really well. So, again, my only interest today is giving these more room for them to do their thing as we hit new season. I'm starting to think maybe this isn't enough. Maybe I should really go up. Right? That's exactly what we want. We can't go wrong with noodles, right? So the Osmocote, yeah. So Steph, I use Osmocote and I do a lot of liquid fertilizer out here in the shade house because it is free to the elements. So if it rains or my automated sprinkler system goes off, it gets water, and around this time of the year, the plants can dry out in a day with how bad the sun gets, and it hasn't been raining a lot down here at all. It's actually surprising. So I always use Osmocote. I put a little bit of Osmocote, and they also get the dose of liquid fertilizer, so they get both. Now there's other things you can get other than Osmocote. Some stuff will last a little bit longer. I know this is supposed to be 6 months, but it's so hot down here. Sometimes you're lucky if you get that 6 month mark. You get maybe like 4 months. So every now and then, maybe I'll sprinkle a little bit more, or just stick with the liquid fertilizer until next season. Normally this takes me through a season, and then I'm good to go. I don't have to go crazy with fertilizing anyways, but yeah. And I'm gonna see, yeah, this is a lot more space. I don't know, I'm almost like, maybe it's too much space. I don't know. You guys can see that too. It's either that or one size up, which, too much, right? Better safe than sorry. So this is one size up from the pot that it was in, and it's just enough where I can turn the plant. I'm gonna play it safe. That would be the first time that I'd be trying that big of a jump in upsizing, but I don't think I want to risk it on this plant. Maybe something I have duplicate of. So again, I may loosen just the bottom, just to unravel the roots a little bit, and then there we are. Thanks for talking me off the ledge, Hummingbird. And if you're wondering what I'm using as far as mix, I have cocoa chips, size 3 perlite, charcoal, tree fern fiber. What else do I have in there? Pumice and orchiata. So Steph, there you go, Steph. Let me know if you need me to repeat that. And it changes. Sometimes I'm really into pumice right now. I think pumice is amazing. Partially, I'm using pumice a lot for any struggling plants, anything that has gotten root rot or just really started to decline. I'm putting it in straight pumice. So it's just a straight up pumice mix, or pumice with a little bit of tree fern fiber mixed into it. And pumice does pretty decent on retaining water for a few days. Obviously, depending on, you can't put it like out here and expect it to. But when I'm rehabbing those, I'm putting them in like an IKEA greenhouse or something like that, or IKEA cabinet, or they're in my patio where the sun isn't just drying them out really fast. So the pumice is working really well for anything I'm rehabbing. I used to rehab in perlite, but I'm liking the pumice a lot more. So I started adding pumice to my chunky mix, because I do like the, I mean, it helps with, you know, keeping the mix chunky. But no, that queen, listen, I haven't tried, and I keep saying I'm just gonna buy another one in the next big show that I go to, because I don't want to spend more than like 30 bucks on it. So the next show I go to, I'm gonna go again on the queen and see what happens. I think I've been through like 4 now. I still can't figure it out, which is so weird to me. But they are temperamental. It's not just me. There's a lot of people struggling with the queen. But I haven't tried again. Jayland, if you gifted, thank you. So if anybody has queen tips, queen anthurium tips, drop them below, because I can't be the only one struggling with. Get a green form. They have longer stems and less narrow leaves. They're so much easier. Okay. Maybe I'm gonna have to look for that then, because I really want one, and I think it should. For some reason, it's not. I feel like it should do really well out here. No. I don't know. I can't figure it out. But I will look for a green form next show I go to. All right. And that one is the Velvet Mask crossed with itself, also crossed with Forget AI Pap, and this is a Cartel Dawn baby. So we'll keep watching this one, see what it does. Let's see, what else? No, that's good. I'm not gonna touch that. Okay, we have so this was really happy, and then I don't know what happened. This is another red vein dart phoenix. Pancho. So Pancho is saying, and for you that are just joining, I'm also recording. This live is gonna go up on YouTube. So if you missed any portion of it, it's going to be a lot of me talking to another camera, but it's okay. You can catch it on YouTube later on. But Pancho says, thank you. Pancho's expired for switching, or for me inspiring him to switch his phylos to planks. And I still have some phylos on planks. Now, I got rid of a lot of my phylos. It got to the point I couldn't see past like the first row, and I was like, yeah, this is wild. Definitely a jungle back here, but as my love for Anthurium grew, I started making room and bench and clearing space for more Anthurium over the phylo, but I still do have phylo on planks, and I absolutely love them on planks. I've had nothing but success on planks, so I'm glad it's working for you. You have the dark and green form and the green queens. Jeez, now you're making me really want a green queen now. And thank you, Pancho. Promise. There you go. Listen, another one listen, it is a ferocious beast, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it, because I don't know if you're like me, but the phylos were amazing. I love them. And I had this just urge to really just try to get the biggest massive leaves as possible. And I did that with a lot of them. But they took up so much space, and I was like, man, I need like trees. I need a jungle for this. If not, I was just cutting and repotting, and it got to be a lot. But with Anthurium, it takes a bit longer for the whole, you know, massive plant effect, like some of these in the back are starting to get to. You see that regale right there. It takes a bit longer, but at least it's just in one spot and I can figure it out. And if it does get too big, I can chop, and it's like a butt cut versus a top cut, and then I can start over a lot easier. But so this is Red Vein Dark Phoenix that I got. This one was an import, and like I said, you can tell it's gorgeous even though it's seen way better days. But I moved it out, and here we are. If you can see that, there's another leaf. It's starting to pop there. So we have a new leaf. So it's working, and it's pretty much the same potting mix that I'm moving into here. I bought a hose with more land, and now, or house. Bought a house and more land. I have 2 greenhouses. I'm almost out of room. Hey, listen, when I first started, I have a good friend of mine, I call him my plant mentor. He was schooling me on all this stuff, and I had just like a tiny portion of the yard. Like I'm talking like a 10 by little 11 or 13 size, and he was like, he laughed and said, yeah, that's cute. And I was like, it's cute? What do you mean? And he's like, watch how fast you're gonna wanna expand that. And he's absolutely right. I took it from that to added like 25 more feet, and then I just shaded this whole side, and I'm already like, all right, maybe I need more. So my dream is to buy some land somewhere, a few acres, and build like industrial sized greenhouse, and just live in peace, growing big ass fucking plants. So we're gonna leave this alone. Like I said, we have a new, thanks bro, I really appreciate that, Pancho. Let's see what else. All right, so this is a Dark Phoenix, and it's probably not a bad idea to check on the roots so we can see what's going on. It was doing okay, but then it's like, So I'm starting to believe maybe it's not happy in whatever it's in. So this is just a regular Dark Phoenix. And, oh, thank God I'm taking it out. All right. Definitely the mix was not. So I'll show you guys. This is part of the, so this is one of the ones that was doing really well during the fall winter season, but for some reason now it's just like and it may have been just too much tree fern fiber for what it is out here. So you can see the roots aren't as green. They're not like completely gone, but we got the tips of some that are just, and it's like in the process of regrowing some. So that's no good. We got a lot of dead roots, which explains why it's been somewhat stagnant. And this is why I say sometimes you gotta just pay attention. If the plant isn't growing, like actively pushing new growth, whether it be a flower or new leaves, then there's probably something wrong. Now this isn't terrible, but it does have some portions of it that I'm not too happy with. Anthuriums to me are like a set. No, legit. I 100% agree. Like I said, if they're doing something in forward direction, active growth, then they're happy. But if you notice that it's not doing anything, it's probably a good idea to check on it. Like, look at this. This whole thing is just, I swear, maybe this is one that I would drop into a pumice mix and let it just come back. These are one of the ones. I just had to get rid of too much. So some of them, like I said, from season to season, they'll decline. Maybe it's too much water because the watering schedule just does change. This is why it's important to just pay attention to what the plants are doing. So I do have roots, and this will be okay, but I'm probably going to give this some hormone powder and then put it in just straight pumice and let it do its thing in pumice. So I'll leave that one in there with its tag. And that's why it's important to pay attention to your plants. Let's see what else. We'll leave this alone because we just got a new leaf. So I do want to check this one out, even though it is starting to push. It looks like I have a new growth point. Yo, they're such divas. I'm sick of them. So this is a Anthurium Black Sweet. And you can tell recently, I don't know what, if it's, I don't think it was a bug. It just may be the climate. Now you can tell, I'll show you why I'm excited for what this is gonna be once I completely figure it out. So you can see the shape of that. Now the previous leaves, kind of I may just even get rid of those so it can focus on what it's doing. That's one of the leaves there. But as we go, you can see just that flat sinus. And then we have another grow point, and you can see that new leaf right there. But I am gonna empty this because I wanna see what it's doing. Not a bad idea to change. Like I said, and this may have been just like one of those that isn't too dense, not enough perlite, not enough. Now this isn't, I'm not upset at this. Even though it's heavy, I still have a lot of good roots in there. But had I waited even longer, I think, thanks Gmail. Had I waited any longer, I think I would have started to really lose roots. So not a bad time. And then what I'm gonna do is be like that. I'm just gonna get rid of some leaves that are starting to decline. And then this one does have 2 growth points. I'm not gonna separate it because it's not ready to be separated, but we're good there. So this is Black Sweet. Now, minus, I don't know what that is at the top. Just, I don't know how it happened. Maybe it was a bug, or maybe it was just in the growth process. This is why I'm excited about it. If you just look how flat that sinus is. So we'll wait to see what this little one produces or how it grows. And then hopefully in me repotting it today, it's gonna kick it up into overdrive, and then we'll get some nice new growth. And then the next video will be an update on how the Black Sweet is doing, but this is just fine. Oof. Hold on. All right. So let's fill in just like that. It's perfect. A little bit of Osmocote. And there we go. Just gonna backfill this. This one shouldn't be hard to do. It's actually pretty easy. Florida man, thank you. Again, we're just gonna, just like that, and put a little bit more. And we're good. I have a lot outdoor, but I still have a lot. Yeah, those are outdoor too. I have a lot under a covered patio, and then anything seedling wise that are germinating or in the garage on a rack, and then everything else is out here. So a lot of the stuff that's really starting to take off or that's outgrown the shelves in the patio, they come out here, and then that's where I expect them to really flourish, like I was telling everybody else. I'm in Florida, kind of like my Regal. I got some good mama plants back there, a Black Beauty. I got some stuff that's really too big to do anything on the inside. I don't have space on the inside. Gmail, you gotta get into Anthurium. I was the same way. I was like, like I said, I was a philo guy. Listen, depending on what you got, but generally I don't want to say seedlings are easy, but they can be easy as long as you have a recipe that works for wherever you're growing. You have an east-facing patio. Queen of Hearts is fire. I got a small one here that's starting to do some things for me. It's starting to dance. I may actually repot that one today into something different. But I absolutely killed this at one point. I don't know how. Don't ask me. It just one day it just wasn't happy. And then it just, like literally just, I had a stick and I don't know how I brought it back. Okay, and a drawer is good. You have them in like in a cabinet or a humidity drawer. Do a little bit more here. This is the Black Sweet. I mean, everybody always says where was this? Actually, let's take a look at this since we said it. I do want to check on this Queen of Hearts. Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying to you if I said Anthurium were easy, because I've had Anthurium. I have at least 3 Anthurium back here or somewhere in the collection that I've had for maybe 3 to 4 years. The majority that I've been collecting plants, the majority of the time that I've been collecting plants, and it's literally been on and off, me killing them and then bringing them back, killing them and bringing them back. And just now, in this past, let's call it year, I've really started to dive into Anthurium, and I figured them out. So I feel your pain. I'm not going to say, oh, they're easy, but there's so many more people talking about Anthurium care and stuff now. So I feel like it's easier to figure out. But if all else fails, pumice. If you want to go, I love pumice. I feel like I can put anything in pumice. Or get some nice self-watering style planters, pots. And those work really well for Anthurium. And a nice chunky mix or something like that. But yeah. All right, let's see what this looks like. Oh, I really appreciate that, Brittany. I just got some. Ooh, what's up, Poppy? Ooh, that's so loud. How long do I have? So like 15 minutes? 20? All right, that's perfect. 20 minutes. Thanks, Brittany. Yeah, I'm really starting to kick back up on the YouTube, which is why I'm actually filming this live to put on YouTube. Just for anybody that misses anything, so people can see my daily routine. But I am going to be bringing back some of the, I guess, individual repotting and where we at now with certain plants that I've touched or done things with in the past. Hi, Terry. Thank you. That's so cool. I've never seen that before. Oh, wait. Florida man, I appreciate that. Hand of hearts. That was very cool. I was like, wait, what's going on with the screen? I am still doing philodendron. So for anybody asking, I still do have some philodendron. I have some that are really just piqued my interest. If you go on my page, I actually just posted Patriciae. I still have that. It's just like I have that majestic. I have a few like really huge ones that I still have in the collection. So I haven't given up, but I'm just filtering what type of philodendron I'm willing to grow at this point. Begonias, I have like 1 or 2 begonias. I'm not heavy into begonias. Really? Yeah, I suck because I wasn't getting YouTube notifications for a long time. And then, I had a baby. Well, we're going almost a year ago now. He's 11 months. So he's been taking a lot of my time, which I'm happy about. I'm spending a lot of time with him and the wife and working a lot. So now I'm just starting to get back into the swing of things. So there will be more content coming, different style content. I am getting better with the content. So how do I save my bamboo tree? That is a great question. I'll be 100% honest. I'm not really a bamboo guy. Does it stink would be the question. If your bamboo stinks, then you probably got to chop some roots and switch out water. What do you have it planted in? And maybe somebody in the comment section can help. Thanks, Gmail. I appreciate that. And Brittany, I'm glad. Like I was able, like I said, and maybe I may be late, but I try to respond to everything. So I appreciate you guys just even watching the content and engaging with it. That means the world to me. Yeah, listen, begonias is next. Yeah, you see that? So this one's, which is what prompted me to finally see what's going on. But oddly enough, this is actually doing pretty decent. So I'm going to give it more space into a new pot, which I'm okay with. This is the newest leaf that I have here. But it did some weird thing with whatever was growing next. And I'm like, all right, it's probably time for me to check on it. But yeah, that's a whole nother ball game when you get into the begonias. Thanks, Gmail. Any varicosum? My husband RSS. 50 varicosum. So varicosum were a little. Listen, if anybody tells you they're not divas, they're lying to you. I think they're too much of divas. But I am a huge fan of Splendid. And that's probably as close as I'll get to it because I've been through varicosums and they're just a little too temperamental for the time that I have. I can't. You guys are good with varicosums. Like that's incredible. But I feel like they're very much like terrarium style. Like they love crazy humidity and love and affection. You got to cuddle them and tuck them in at night and all that crazy stuff. And I'm like, I can't. I don't have the time. So a lot of the ones that I had just kind of withered away and melted. And it's crazy because we have a lot of humid. It's crazy humid down here, but you got to get it just right. So I've stuck with just Splendid being, as close as I'll get to varicosum. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. All right. All right, so let's see. Perfect. And you know what? I'm just going to pluck this one off right here because I don't want it wasting resources. And that was the leaf that kind of prompted me to check on the roots here. And we'll do maybe 1 or 2 more because we got to cut the AC on, and I'm actually recording right by the AC unit. I think that's good. Backfill there. Chunkier mix. Little Osmocote. And I can see mosquitoes literally floating around my head. But it is what it is. I'm just going to hold that. So what got me into collecting? It's a funny story. So I'm going to say always, because I never had a lawn until my adult life. I I bought a house in what city we'll call Fort Lauderdale down here in Florida. And in the neighborhood I lived in, nobody had grass. I'm telling you, it was bad. My backyard was just like weeds. So I really got into lawn care. I'm telling you, I was collecting rainwater and the whole nine. I was doing it. So my yard was very manicured. It was really nice, my backyard. And one day, one of my wife's best friends from home, he was like, hey, she told him I was looking for a plant to like kind of just put as decoration in my office area. And he was like, oh, go get this plant. And it was a pothos. So I went, bought this IKEA thing hanging off the wall, put a pothos in it. And I was like, man, that looks really nice. I'm going to go get another one. And so I had two pothos. And in that time of just going back and forth to Home Depot to get pothos, I was like, man, these are really nice. They have a lot of plants here. Maybe this would be nice. Maybe this would be nice. And so I had like maybe 5 plants. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I discovered that I had Monstera growing. I didn't know they were Monstera at the time. I thought they were just nice landscaping plants. So I had Monstera growing in the front of the house. And then I went to, if you never heard of it, Perfect Choice Nursery. And that's down here. It's in Southwest Ranches in Florida. And in Perfect Choice Nursery, I found this community of people that just loved plants. When I say community, that was like my first plant swap. It was like I was meeting people left and right. That first time they featured me in like their Plant Daddy Father's Day posts. And I got to know the family, and I was just like, oh, I'm all in. And it's been downhill, or uphill, if you will, from there. And I've been collecting plants ever since, to the point where I just took a whole corner of my backyard, and now I'm even starting in fruit trees. And this is just, it's my peace, you know what I mean? Keeps me grounded and keeps me home, keeps me happy, gives me another purpose outside of family. It's like one of my main hobbies. So that's my story of how the plants came to be. And there we are, easy repot. We got rid of that one leaf. And so you can see when I start really looking, you see, I don't know what's going on. It's supposed to push out a new leaf, but it pushes out like this weird little pointer. And that kind of tells me check on the roots, like something's going on there. It's not supposed to do that. So and then I was gonna check on, I want to check this out. Now it's a repap, or it's a regarden pap crossed with regarden pap. And it was doing amazing, but I don't think it was happy either with what it was in. So I don't think it needs to be upsized, but it may just need a change of the potting mix. So let's see. And not terrible, but definitely at one point it wasn't happy. And I think it just it's been out here for so long, it kind of recovered. So I can see some like deadish sides of this, but the rest of it looks like the new growth is green and happy. So yeah, the plant community is dope. I gotta be honest with you. Like I have a lot of friends. Like I went to Orlando for PlantCon, the first time I've ever been to PlantCon, and it was just, what a shock. You never think you're just a regular person. You're out here just collecting plants, and you're just trying to help people grow their plants, and grab advice, and you're talking to people left and right online all the time, and you don't realize how many people just like really look for your content or look for you, and what a feeling it is for people that don't even know you, just to support you so hard, and really really just want to engage with you. And I've met so many cool people, like a lot of my good friends, especially in the South Florida area, like all plant collectors. So I just met really good people. I'm working on so many hybrids now. Like I'm not gonna say so many. I have like 4 hybrids that I'm cranking out right now. Some other stuff that are flowering, and then hopefully, I think by next year, I'll be trying to get a booth at a show for mainly just Anthurium. And hopefully by that time, my name is really floating, and people will know who I am and they want my Anthurium. But obviously that comes with, you know, getting more and more plants and getting the crosses and hybrids, or creating the crosses and hybrids that everybody wants. So hopefully by that time, I am working on a lot this year. Brittany, I really appreciate that. Like, that's love. I really appreciate that. And I'm like, I got some friends that really do this, and they help me out, and I get a lot of my Anthurium from them. And you guys know, like, I do the photography on the side, so I'm always, you know, trying to create content down here and connect with people. And, you know, hopefully later this year, I got some stuff in the works, as far as being featured on, you know, some other people's YouTubes and stuff, and giving them tiny tours of my small space. But I'm South Florida. And thank you, Brittany. I really appreciate that. That's a, you know, Champ, that's a very good point, because and my wife always says this. She goes, you know, at one time you didn't have anything you have now, and you were like really hoping that you'd have a fraction. And I just told the story of when I started in this shade house, and it was just one corner, and I was so ecstatic about it, and I was so happy about it. And then like this, I was like, I need more, and I grew it, and I was able to grow it, and I have this space now. So you're absolutely right. You know, we easily forget, like, when we were dreaming about where we are now. You're absolutely right, you know, on that. So I appreciate you bringing me back to reality of, you know, and I'm very grateful for what I have. I really am. My wife would tell you, you know, I spend so much time out here. But yeah. So this repap, cross with repap, just got a repot. Let's see if that changes things for it. The roots do look good. It looks like at some point it was declining. But yeah, yes, it's very much my happy place. Very much my happy place. And I hope to pass it on to my son, honestly. And now we're starting to do mango trees and soursop and sugar apple. We're starting to get into the fruit tree spot. So, whew. Let me see if there's anything else that yeah, that's about it. We don't have too much, you know. I'm just kind of taking a look at things and seeing where we're at with see, like this one might be, yeah, that's way too, I have a feeling, and this is one of my creations, but I can tell it's not doing well in here. So I don't have any well fins. This is the parenting we need. My kid is 11 months, so, and he loves being outside already. So yeah, I'm passing this on to him. Like, he's gonna inherit, and there's a few people in the plant community with kids, and I love seeing when people bring their kids to events, and I'm full on support of that. Like, if I see you out with your kid and your kid is interested in it, and they have their own little slide collection, listen, if I meet you and you ever, you know, we start engaging and I find out your kid, I'm asking you for an address. I'm sending plants over. Hey Lisa, how are you? I think it's just important. We pass this side of us to the youth, you know. There's just way too many benefits with plants to not pass it on. Like, ugh, look at that. I knew this was no good. This is all just like, this just came right off. Now, this looked like it rotted, and then it started growing some healthy roots. So now I need a much, much smaller pot. So we'll put this one aside too, and this will go in like a tiny, but like I said, this is why it's important. This was in the winter, this was fine, or fall, but now so much, these are getting water so much that this is a no-go. And I can see all, just so you're aware, This is all dead roots. But it's fine. And this is one of my creations. This is Mag Regal, which I have like 10 of. So I'm okay with this. But obviously I can still save this one. It just needs a tiny little cup to restart its growth process in. But yeah, definitely happens. We'll drop that in there. And I knew something was up with that one, but before we absolutely call it, does anybody want to see, I guess, some other plants, some maybe 2 or 3 larger plants before we call it? Because my wife is going to cut the AC on and it's going to be super loud. You won't be able to hear anything. All right, so let's, obviously you can see the Regal back there. And I just made a video so you can see it on my page, but this is, all right, so this is a Jungleberry Black Beauty. So it's a Berry Shorts Black Beauty. Ooh. And I grew this from, like, if you ever get like seedlings or anything from Barry, like he'll send them to you and you get them tiny. So I grew this from a tiny plant and this is where we're at. And it is, I think I just did this one. But I crossed this with a No ID Mag and I think it's already ready for me to collect its second batch of seeds. You know, sometimes seeds start dropping before others. So now I need to pluck more and put them into, you know, whatever little prop box and stuff. But yeah, if you take a look, this is a Jungleberry Black Beauty, and I love this one. I really do. I have 2 Black Beauties. This one's doing obviously way better than anything, and it's just massive. But right now it's focusing on flowering and giving me babies, so be on the lookout for those. I actually already put those seeds to germinate like 2 days ago. I do have a pap. Let's look at a pap. Ooh. So, you ready? I'm just showing 2 plants and then we'll cut it on. 2 plants. So here's one that I had. I got this from Redland Botanicals. And you can see finally it's happy. Which split looking one? Ooh. Under the Regal. There's like a couple. The split looking one, meaning this? You talking, Champ, you're talking this one? Yeah, that's a flame. That's a Monstera, Burl Marks flame. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty, that's, yeah, I got lucky, and I think I got it for like 80 bucks a while back, and it was just one node. And this one actually needs a repot too. Whew. Yeah. So I got this. And listen, they're slow growers, in my opinion. I'm going to say they're slow growers. I got this at a show. It has to be, let's call it just under 2 years ago or early last year, maybe. And it was tiny. It was inside. Then I moved it out here. Since I moved it out, it's been doing its own thing. And finally, oh, hold on. One on the head. They do this weird test now with... Okay. Yeah, so it finally started just doing a sweet spot. I'm never gonna move it out of that spot, but now it's doing its own thing. So, yeah, now it's finally like it dropped this new leaf. I didn't even know it had a new leaf. I was like, oh crap, a new leaf. Now I know it to be slow, but lately it's been, like I said, it is spring. It is South Florida. So lately it's been happy, but I'm not bothering it. I'm minding my own business. It gets the water when it, whenever everything else does. It gets fertilizer when everything else does, but it's happy. No, you guys made me, now I'm like scared. I'm like, God, I got to find the exact spot, put it right back where it was. But yeah, that's the flame. You can see it, the leaves, when I got it, that's what it looked like, those little solid. And then you see how long it started before it started to really fenestrate. And now we're getting at the top. I try to ignore it, I really do. All right. All right. Yeah, I know. I appreciate you guys for joining me today. I had some plant chores. I figured it was a good idea that we do them together. If you're new to my page and you're just following me, I really appreciate it. You can check me out on my other socials. I'm very active on Instagram, YouTube. I'm kicking back up, so I'm posting on all channels. If you're interested in my long form content, you want to see kind of where I've been, my journey, YouTube, you can catch my videos. Again, I appreciate the support there. If you're just interested in my plant photography, you like the way my pictures look, Instagram and everything else just is here, and Instagram are pretty much the way it goes. Kirk, thank you. I appreciate it. But like I said, it was a pleasure. Don't be afraid to reach out. I like talking to you guys in the comment sections or even just messaging me. And I'll see you guys soon. I will be back on live shortly. I always say I'm going to get better at this, but legit, I am. I am going to post more, especially as going into the summer season. So I'll be on here more to interact with you guys and show you guys what I'm up to. And hopefully next time I'll show you guys seedlings that I have. They're actually ready to go for sale. So I'll show you guys some seedlings that are ready to go.